Good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank. I'll be taking you through tackle trading this evening, showing you around a little bit, letting you know what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, all of that fun stuff. At the end of it all, we here at Tackle Trading, it's just a group of traders that have come together to bounce ideas off one another, to help each other out, to be there as we work these markets together. And that's really what tackle trading is to me, is a community of like-minded traders. And I love being part of it. As I break down tackle trading, though, I break it into three core components, and the things that you can do on your own. That'd be things like courses and blogs, and some of the tools that you'll find in our trade center, then things that you can do with others. That would basically be the schedule. What are we doing on Mondays? What are we doing on Tuesdays, etc. And lastly, our weekend reports, where we're presenting our community with our tackle newsletter, as well as our stock options and commodity report. So we'll kind of come at it from that perspective here this evening, before we as we get diving into that first bucket, if you will, the things that you can do on your own. I would like to highlight a couple of weekly podcasts that you might find good additions to your weekly routine. First off is the Huddle podcast that you'll get at the end of the week. You can get that link right up here. You can catch it directly at that link, or you can listen to it on any of your favorite podcast providers. Just talking about the top 10 stories of this trading week, comes out on Fridays. And then the Trading Justice podcast also comes out each week. It's a little more of a long form podcast for sure. A really great listen where Coach Matt, Coach Mark, and Coach Tim present each week. Great information, a lot of fun, good insight into trading in the markets, have very interesting guests. I'm really excited about this week's Trading Justice podcast because Pete Thomas is a recurring guest and always one of my personal favorites to listen to Pete as he talks about the metals market. You can catch Trading Justice at tradingjustice.com. That link is in the Trade Center. I'm just on the Trade Center homepage right now, and the link is there, but it is just tradingjustice.com. There's also a great monthly newsletter that they put together over at tj.com as well that is very much worth reading. So a couple things that maybe you could add to your routine as we kind of start diving into the things that you can do on your own. Let's talk courses. That's kind of the one of the first things that jumps to my mind, at least when I think about things that you can do on your own. And we do have several courses that that are available to all of our pro members. Our 7-step guide to trading is kind of an introduction to the tackle approach to the markets. I mean, if you talk to any two traders, I have to log back in. No two traders are going to be exactly the same, right? But here at Tackle Trading, we do share, some core beliefs and a core approach to the markets, from taking that top-down approach into choosing our strategies, finding and building our watch list so we're ready to take action when we get the signals we're looking for, planning, placing, managing, and of course journaling those trades. So in some ways, the 7-step guide to trading will kind of be an introduction to the tackle trading approach to the markets. Hopefully, it can also give you some ideas that you can incorporate into your existing daily routine as well. If you're a vet trader, you probably have a pretty good routine down. So maybe it's just a little tidbit or two you can take out of it. But if you're a newer trader, you probably don't have a really consistent, solid, routine put together just yet. And this can really help from that perspective as well. Of course, as traders, we're going to be doing a heck of a lot of technical analysis, right? Charts are going to be our friends, and that's true if we're swing trading, day trading, cash flow trading, whatever kind of trading we are doing. We are going to be doing technical analysis to help, timing and building and prepping our trades, right? And so the more we understand about, identifying trends, support, resistance, momentum, candlesticks, patterns, all of that stuff, I think the better we will all be. So I certainly would encourage everyone to take some time to go through that technical analysis course, whether it's, a brand new concept to you or just a great review. I think there's definitely something everyone can learn out of that technical analysis course. Over in Options 101, we're really going to talk about, what's going on when you buy or sell that call or put option. We're not going to talk a ton about strategy. I'll show you where you can find our strategies here shortly, but we're really going to talk about what are the things that are moving that option. Why does it move the way it moves, right? The more we understand the contract itself, I think the easier it's going to be for us to understand any strategy that we're building around those contracts. So if you're newer to options or even intermediate to options, I would say Options 101 will be a great dive into the kind of behind the scenes of those options. If you've ever been interested in learning a little bit more about either the futures or the Forex markets, this can be a great place to start in these 101 courses. I know not everybody wants to trade Forex or wants to trade futures, and that's fine. I have no objection to that. I think all of us should trade the products that we want to trade. But if, when I first was kind of looking into futures, for example, this was years ago, it was really confusing. And there wasn't really I couldn't really get any good solid information. I got a lot of good information, but just parts here and there. And it was really hard to put all of that together. These courses will help you get a better understanding of those markets, what's going on over there, how does that leverage work, all of that fun stuff. If you've ever been interested in learning a little bit more about either of those markets, I think you'll enjoy those courses as well. No matter what kind of products you like to trade. I trade Bitcoin, I trade Forex, I trade options, whatever your time frame. I'm a day trader, I'm a swing trader, I'm a position trader. It's very important that we have clearly designed systems and rules in place governing our actions, right? And I think every trader agrees with that. I've never met anybody who disagreed with that at face value. But it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. It can be difficult if you've never, put together trading systems before and come at trading from more of a systematic perspective. It can be a difficult process. This system development course is really designed to kind of get you trained to be thinking about your trading from that systematic perspective. I cannot recommend it enough, no matter what kind of trader you are, no matter what level, your skill level you're at, how much experience you have. I cannot recommend the system development course enough. I think everyone can get some really good insight out of that course. So those are some of our courses. You'll also notice that we have a handful of premium products. And what these are pre-built systems. Just to quickly let you know what they are, and I'll let you know where you can get more information if you're interested. But it's a complete system. It's put together. Every month we get together with members of that system in a mastermind group. The Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system on a select group of stocks that we put together each year with the intent of selling covered calls and cash throwing throughout the upcoming year. Step system is our approach to swing trading the markets, just stop loss, target entry, and position size. Cash flow condors, another cash flow system, this time on the Russell 2000, and bear market survival guide, dealing with these, periods of heightened selling and volatility within particularly our longer term portfolio, and, managing when things are going well as well. All of these are, like I said, they're a one-time purchase. It's a complete system. It is yours for life. And we do get together once a month with each member of that team in a mastermind group. You'll find them in the shows tab. We do invite all of our pro members to join us in those mastermind groups. So even if you don't have, say, the step system, here in about an hour and 20 minutes, Coach Matt will be doing the step system mastermind group here on Tackle Trading. So any pro members are more than welcome, and I'd certainly encourage you to join. If you are a pro member, that should be a really good course. So we do invite our pro members to join us in those mastermind groups for those premium systems. If you'd like a little more information on any of those, you can find it in the store tab. And of course, don't hesitate to send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. If you'd like a little more information, we'd be happy to get that for you. Not everything is going to be a course, right? We do regular blog content, both in written and in video format, whether it's more charting from a Tales of Technician, kind of taking concepts from the ground up with Coach Greg over in the Rookie Corner. We're on options and the option theory, hearing from our fantastic female traders in the Women in Trading group. These are going to be, relatively short time commitments, 5, 6, 7-minute reads, 10, 15-minute videos, but just an additional way throughout the week that we can, share ideas, answer questions, communicate with members of our team. Over in the Trade Center, you will find a link to our trading journals. We'll talk a little bit more about them here shortly. Our link to our trading glossary, our Clubhouse, which is kind of our own, personal little social media page where, members of the, the team can just, bounce ideas around with one another and kind of communicate in, more traditional social media type of sense. You'll also find the Tackle Trading Playbook. I do want to come into the playbook here for just a moment. Here in the playbook, you will find all of our strategies as well as the rules for those strategies. We're going to break our strategies into 3 core groups based off of the option Greeks: Delta, Theta, and Vega. Delta is going to be our directional playbook, right? I think the stock's going from 90 to 100, from 50 to 40. Basically, I expect movement. So that would include things like buying and selling stock, of course, but buying calls, buying puts, doing debit spreads, doing diagonal spreads. Basically, these are movement-based strategies. Then there's the theta or the cash flow side. I think as a whole, we're pretty big fans of cash flowing here at Tackle Trading. Who isn't a fan of cash flow, right? That's going to be where we're selling those options and taking advantage of the one guarantee, which is time passing, right? So selling calls against shares that we own, selling naked puts to get us into trades, selling credit spreads, iron condors, basically selling these options, bringing in that premium and taking advantage of the passage of time. And then lastly, you're going to have the Vega or the volatility playbook. These are going to be based off trading situations, based off of our expectations of volatility. I expect we're right in earnings, right? I mean, think about the Netflix disaster on earnings, right? There was no way for us to know it was going to, have such a, negative response to its earnings report, right? But maybe based off of its history, we did feel there was an edge to make a play saying, hey, it's probably going to move a lot one way or the other. It may be up, it may be down, but as long as it moves a lot, how can we profit, right? So we're playing into our expectations of the volatility. Earnings season's always where, I'm thinking personally, at least about these Vega or volatility based trades. Of course, that's not the only time that we can do them. You'll notice that in all of these, there's going to be anywhere from a 0 to a plus or a -3. And that's just kind of where we see the strategy fitting along the bias spectrum, right? So if you kind of think about 0 is flat neutral, plus or -1 would be slightly bullish or slightly bearish. 2 or -2 would be bullish or bearish, or moderately bullish or bearish, however you want to word it. And then 3 or -3 would be very bullish or very bearish. It sounds silly when you say it out loud because it's kind of like, well, yeah, but it's sometimes we all need a reminder that we do want to match the strategy to our read of the situation, right? If I think this is going to be a slow, grindy stock, do I really want a relatively short-term call option that's going to really, be impacted negatively by time decay? Probably not, right? That's probably not the strategy I would choose if that was my read of the situation. So this is just kind of letting you know at least where we think these strategies fit along those lines. In every one of these, of course, you'll have a detailed video explaining, what the strategy is, why we would choose the strategy, how we would do the strategy, our rules for the strategy. We will be placing a practice order on the Thinkorswim platform. If you're using TOS and you need some help from an order perspective, that's a little added bonus there as well. There's also a little PDF downloadable cheat sheet so you can have easy access to those rules as you're getting to know these different strategies. So that is the Tackle Trading Playbook. If you go directly into the Trade Center here, this is kind of where we started tonight, but it'll bring you kind of to a what's up at Tackle Trading page. What's our next show? It's our Step System Mastermind group with Coach Matt here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Our most recent posts, our most recent report, most recent tweet. There's a little watch list that you can build for yourself if you would like to do so. So you don't always have to say log into your broker to check your charts. To do so, all you would do is just, add whatever the stock that you wanted to do. Let's say we wanted to add Bristol Myers to it. I'm just going to add these guys, take a look at that chart. I'm just going to select them, and then I'm just going to hit this plus button. And that's going to add BMY to my watch list. If I decide, tomorrow or later down the road, I no longer need it, I'm just going to select it over here in the, in the watch list, hit the minus button, and that'll get rid of that. I'll just save this for me. So if I want to, take a quick look at, some charts without having to kind of go the whole 9 yards, some people really like it. Some people prefer to always do their charting on their own platform. It's cool with me either way. There will be either a live showing or a replay of one of our YouTube shows. Typically, it'll be the halftime report, but it might be our Wednesday night webinar, which we'll talk about a little bit, our Monday night webinar, this onboarding webinar. So either a replay or a live showing if we are, of course, live. Little mini calendar, what's the next little while looking like here at Tackle Trading as far as the schedule is concerned, where you are in any of the courses that you're taking. So if you left 4 minutes and 12 seconds into module 1 of the Forex course, you can pick right back up without having to figure out exactly where it was you left off again to save you a little bit of time. There's also going to be a variety of different trader tools over here on the side. You're going to find a link to the market Skyline. This is where we're going to have all of the big stuff, all of the big stuff for our indexes, sectors, major commodities, right? These things are all a big part of a daily routine, going through the different index charts, right? The S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the RUT, Bitcoin, if you are trading or tracking cryptocurrencies, the major commodities, gold, silver, copper, crude oil, etc. The sector Spyder ETFs, what sectors might be standing out right now, whether it was based off of today, based off of their overall strength, their overall pattern, whatever the case might be. These are all part of, at least what I consider a healthy daily routine. And while it certainly doesn't have to be on this page, it can be. We wanted to get them all in one place where you could easily go through them quickly. I would definitely encourage you, if you're not going through this as part of your routine, I think it can make you a better trader. There's a link to the FinViz heat maps right here. This will just bring you to finviz.com's heat map page for the S&P 500 for today. Just a visual, right, of what the day looked like, what areas were standing out, whether from a bullish or a bearish perspective. A little bit more mixed action today than we've seen the last little while, right? Most days we've been looking at this lately, and it's been kind of a sea of red, hopefully to generate some additional ideas. While the default is set to a one-day performance, you can look at weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, certain fundamental ratios. So there's little customization that you can do there if you would like to do so. So that heat map will take you there. You're going to find a news aggregator here. This is just going to go through some of the bigger financial websites. As you can kind of see here, the Times, CNBC, Wall Street Journal. If we scroll down, there's probably a Market Watch not too far down the road. Typically, those are the big four, I think, that we see in here. What this is going to do is just going to go through these, these big financial websites, grab us some headlines, get them in an orderly fashion so I can roll through. If I own or follow IBM, I'm probably really interested in its earnings report and its response. If I don't follow IBM, I probably don't really care, right? And then that's fine. It's fine if I do, it's fine if I don't. But this is just a way to save us some time bouncing around, clicking, get the headlines that we want to read so we don't have to waste our time bouncing back and forth. We can do it over that way too, but this is just really designed to save us some time. You'll find a link to the economic calendar so you can see what's on the upcoming docket for the day or for the week that could impact your trading. Another link to our market reports, which you'll also find in this drop down right up here, we'll talk about here shortly. Another link to the trading glossary, a search function if you need it. That search function is also this little magnifying glass up here. It is pretty smart. So if you're looking for more information on a particular topic, so you want more information on moving averages or covered calls or whatever the case might be, you can always ask us. We're happy to help. But a lot of times the fastest thing to do is just do a quick search. You'll find lots of contents, blog contents, things that we've talked about in our different shows on a lot of different subjects. It is a pretty smart, at least in my opinion, search function. If you ever need a chart for whatever reason, there's a link to that in here, a link to the compounding gains calculator to help remind us of the compounding power of money. There's also another link to the trade journals in here. Again, you can get them directly on the drop down. I've always preferred to get them here in the Trade Center personally, mostly because this will take you directly to the page that has the tutorial. If you need a little helping hand as you're getting used to those journals, there's no shame in that. Some people are naturally gifted when it comes to spreadsheets, but some of us aren't so much. And so having a little tutorial could be a little bit on the helpful side. Of course, that'll be right in here. We do have 3 different trading journals. We have the trade journal, which is probably pretty much exactly what you would expect. I need to let it know what I did, how much of it I did, when I did it, right? And it's going to track the rest. How long was I in the trade? What was my profit? What was my loss? What does my average winning trade make me? What does my average losing trade cost me? All of that good stuff. Journaling your trades is critical in getting better, right? If I don't know what mistakes I'm making or what I'm particularly good at, how am I going to narrow that focus, right? Well, I'm going to keep a trade journal. Patterns are going to emerge and I'm going to catch them, and I can make adjustments based off of the data that I'm running into, right? And that's exactly what we want to do with our trade journals. There's also the Theta Research tool. This is going to be a great place where you can build and fairly compare cash flow strategies. You might want to, You might have, 4 stocks you're thinking about doing bull put spreads on tonight, but you don't want to, make all of them. Maybe you only want to make 2, right? Well, we want to be able to compare them fairly versus one another as we're making decisions. The Theta Research tool will allow us to do just that. And the portfolio journal to help us kind of stay organized on top of it all, right? You might, if you just got, 1 or 2 trades going, you're probably on top of those trades pretty good, but you might have, 17 positions in your long-term portfolio. You might have a dozen cash flow plays going. You might have 7, bullish swing trades and 5 bearish swing trades. Staying organized is sometimes easier said than done. Hopefully the portfolio journal can help you keep an overall idea of where you are in your portfolio. In any of these, if you come into it the way we just did directly through the Trade Center, just select the one you want. You can get the download, and that will get that downloaded for you. So that is the Trade Center. Over in the events calendar, maybe we'll circle back to the events calendar here in just a minute as we kind of transition into the schedule of things that you can do with others. A big part of a trading community is interacting with other traders, right? There's plenty of things every one of us can do on our own to make ourselves better, but there's also only so much we can do without interacting with other traders, right? In a variety of different ways. So let's kind of start with the daily, the Monday through Friday, the every market day schedule. We're going to start off every market morning here at Tackle Trading in our Traders Lounge at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're going to get together with the team for an hour in a very informal environment where every member of our team can come in, bounce ideas around, get questions answered, just listen in, right? Whatever the case might be, from time to time, we all have questions. And, for a lot of times when, especially we're talking about trading and building option trades and doing technical analysis, a lot of times it's a little easier to show as we're talking it, right? Both when you're trying to teach it and when you're trying to learn it, I think. So if you ever have any questions, you're more than welcome to get into that lounge. If you've got a great chart set up, you want to get some opinions on it, great. This is a group of traders. I promise they're interested in looking at a good trade setup. So if you're struggling with something, if you got a trade going, want to talk management techniques, whatever the case might be, you're always welcome to come in, hang out with us in that Traders Lounge every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on tackletrading.com. Shortly after our Traders Lounge, we're going to head over to our YouTube channel at 12:30 Eastern, where we're going to do the Tackle Trading Halftime Report, live looking on the market, where we can kind of go through that daily routine, go through that top-down analysis, what's going on in our indexes, what's the news moving the market, how is it impacting those charts, the different commodities, sectors, stocks in the news, right? Following the market is important, right? I mean, it's silly to say it out loud when I'm going to do it, but I know it sounds silly, but if you know what's going on in the market, trading probably becomes a little easier, right? So, and you're not always trying to swim upstream or anything like that. That's live every day, or every market day, I should say, at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. Of course, being on YouTube, once the live stream is over, that will automatically populate to our channel if that is an inconvenient time for you. So every single day, be it in the lounge here at Tackle Trading at 11 or the halftime report at 12:30 on our YouTube channel, we will be working the markets with members of our team. Then we're going to have the evening schedule. Let's start off with what I would consider the flagship show of Tackle Trading, and that is the Coaches Show, Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. The Coaches Show, I love it so much because it really allows us to zero in on a topic. There's so many things that we can talk about as traders, right? Whether it's patterns, tradable flags, trading high bases, trading, bounces off the 50-day moving average, strategy selection, when to choose a long call versus a bull call versus a bull put, right? Indicators, daily routine, portfolio design. I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about. And the Coaches Show really allows us to really dial in for an in-depth discussion on one of them, right? And it's a lot of fun, both from a teaching and a learning perspective. It's live on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It is recorded and archived, so if you can't make it, if you need to watch it at a more convenient time, if you need to rewatch it, if you want to watch an old episode on a subject that's interesting to you, very easy to find. Just click on that link and that will take you to the archives page. It'll also get you the information to get into the show if it is about to kick off. But definitely encourage everybody to make some time in their week. We'd love to have you live, but we also get that schedules are schedules. So I would encourage you to make some time each week for the Coaches Show. That's Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Then on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do our Cash Flow Club. It's a little more narrowly focused, as the name kind of gives it away, right? Really going to be focusing in on building and managing those cash flow strategies, right? Building and managing credit spreads, building and managing covered calls, building and managing naked puts, etc. We're, like I said, I think as a community of traders, many of us, maybe even most, I don't know for sure, but sure seems that way, incorporate at least some degree of cash flow trading into our overall trading plan. It can be a great place to learn more about building and managing those types of trades. That's Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Just like the Coaches Show, it is recorded and archived. You'll find them all there in the link, so you can rewatch it, watch old episodes, whatever it is that you need to do. On Wednesday nights, we kind of do a twofer. I'm going to come over to the events calendar while we talk a little bit about this, just to kind of show you what this is going to look like. Here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we're going to do our Trade Masters webinar each Wednesday. A couple of the coaches are going to get together, bounce trade ideas off of one another and members of our community in the live chat with us. We're going to have Delta round, Theta round, and a wild card round, really to bounce ideas around. Our team's going to vote whose trade idea they like the best each round, and at the end of it, the winner is declared the trade master for the week. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to be able to share different ideas, talk through some ideas that maybe you're having. It's just always a lot of fun. We're on Wednesday night. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes you need to beef up that watch list by Wednesday night, right? And so having a few ideas, and let's be honest, as traders, there's no such thing as a bad trade idea. There's not a bad way to build an idea off of a trade. So that's right here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern on Wednesday nights. And then shortly after that, we're going to head back over here to Tackle Trading at 8:30 Eastern for our Wednesday night Traders Lounge. It's going to be very similar to our morning lounges in a lot of ways. Mostly it's going to be just like them. With a little caveat, we're just coming out of the Trade Masters webinar, right? We discussed some different ideas in there. And, if members of our team want to take a little further, have any particular questions on anything that we were discussing in that YouTube show, we're certainly happy to talk that stuff as well. So that's Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We wanted to make sure that we could have an evening Traders Lounge because, some people are at work at 11 Eastern, Monday through Friday, the typical market hours, right? But they still might need a place to come in and actually, talk to people, get some questions answered, just hang out, all of the above. So we wanted to make sure that we had an evening lounge available for that group of individuals, but every member of the team is of course invited to that and all of the different things that we are doing. So Wednesday night, it'll be 7 Eastern here on the YouTube channel for the Trade Masters webinar, 8:30 p.m. Eastern back over on Tackle Trading for that Wednesday night lounge. On Monday nights, we typically are doing one of a couple of things. Number one, we'll always do this Monday night webinar on Market Mondays, just for anybody who's new to the team or just checking us out for the first time, to kind of let them know what we're all about. Hopefully makes the getting to know us experience a little bit easier. So this is kind of a recurring Monday night webinar. No two are tremendously different from one another, but you're always, of course, welcome to come back if you ever think it would be helpful for you. We're also oftentimes, it tends to be about every other week, we do regular YouTube webinars on Monday nights. Next Monday, for example, we'll be doing one on support and resistance. Of course, if you are subscribed to our channel, you can set a reminder to make sure you don't miss that. Certainly not going to want to. That's going to be another great one. Again, technical analysis is so important. So we're going to be doing, quite a few Monday night webinars right here on our YouTube channel. That's not going to be every Monday night, but it is going to be fairly regular. We also oftentimes are going to meet up with one of the members of our, system teams that, for example, tonight it's the step system, as I brought up a little earlier. Maybe next week it's the Tackle 25. The week after that it's Condors, etc. And again, whether or not you are, have purchased those premium systems, you are more than welcome. Every pro member is welcome to join us for these. They do tend to be on Monday nights. They won't 100% be there. So we kind of got a little bit of different things that we're doing on Monday nights here at Tackle Trading. We do have a tremendous team of female traders with us here at Tackle Trading. They get together about once a month. They just did one this past Friday in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. I know the team. I don't know exactly what's going on there because I don't get to go, and that's fine with me. Sorry, fellas, you'll have to find something else to do that day. But I know the team. I talk to them. I know they're awesome people, great traders. I'm sure they're having fun and getting some good work done in that Women in Trading Mastermind group. So if you are a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, be on the lookout. It does tend to be about once a month. We'll make sure that we give the team a heads up so they can plan accordingly. But yeah, if you're a woman in trading, I would definitely encourage you to take advantage of the wisdom and just have a great time with some great people in that Women in Trading Mastermind group. In an overly simplified way to put it, and this is definitely oversimplifying it, the lounge is really for what our team needs right now, right? Your questions, whatever you need, that's what we're going to talk about, right? So it's really, all about our team's questions. The halftime report is really all about that daily routine, right? Staying on top of the market. And then the different evening shows are really all about kind of the more in-depth teaching side of the equation. And while that is overly simplified, because as you can imagine, there's a little bleed over in all of it, right? I do think that can kind of help you keep a little more organized as you're getting to know us. As you're kind of getting to know us, over in the events calendar is a great place to go. What's the show? Okay, I'm ready to click on it. Let's get in and get the information to get in. Can be an easy way. We'll also let you know the lineup each day in our morning email, which I'll bring up here in a little bit, show you where you can get that if you would like to do so. On Fridays, what we're doing as a team of coaches, we're getting together, talking markets, talking sectors, commodities, trade setups, and what we refer to as our scouting report meeting. Out of our scouting report meeting comes our tackle newsletter, stock, options, and commodity report that we get delivered to our team by Saturday afternoon each and every week. Let's start with the newsletter. The first step in the 7-step guide to trading is starting at the top of the market, right? And that's exactly what we're doing each week here in the Tackle newsletter. Coach Gino does a great job putting this together, putting some really fancy finishing touches on it to make sure our team is aware of at least our read on the market going into each and every week. So I'll just do a quick, week that was, right? Last week was pretty memorable, right? A lot of selling, a lot of fear. Not all weeks are like that, right? But and probably a good thing. I don't think we mind that they're not all like that. So, but just what was the week? What was the storylines? What was going on in the market? What kind of a market was it? The upcoming earnings, particular when we get into earnings season. Some talk on the sectors. Excuse me. A look to the upcoming economic calendar. Of course, there will be a video going through this stuff with the team as well, where the overall market is technically, whether it's the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell. There's the ETFs that track those. If you don't have them and want them, DIA tracks the Dow Jones, QQQ tracks the NASDAQ, IWM tracks the Russell, and SPY tracks the S&P 500. The internal indicators, the new highs versus new lows. This is going to look at over 8,000 stocks to take a look at the internals of the market and see how healthy or weak the market might be at any given point in time, as well as the advanced decliner to help get a better idea of what's going on really, deep within the market, right? Not just the big names, not just the Dow companies and things like that. Each week, we are going to rank the sectors based off of what we're seeing in the markets. We're going to rank them based off of kind of using the sector Spyder ETFs. If you're unfamiliar with the sector Spyder ETFs, it is important to know a little bit about them. So I'll just briefly tell you kind of what they are, as well as their homepage, so you can check them out if you would like to. What the sector Spyder ETFs are, is they're ETFs. What they're going to do is they're going to go into the S&P 500 and pull out stocks by sector. Like XLE, for example, is the energy sector Spyder ETF. It's going into the S&P 500, pulling out just the energy stocks, the stocks that are classified as energy stocks, right? And putting that into a portfolio. Because it's based off of the S&P, which is a weighted index. These are going to be weighted as well, right? So the bigger companies are going to have more representation in the overall fund, but it's going to really allow us to take a more isolated look at energy versus, say, real estate versus, say, technology, right? These are ETFs, so they are tradable. These particular ETFs are optionable as well. But we're going to rank our sectors not off of XLK itself, but the stocks that make up XLK or make up XLE, right? If you'd like more information on the sector Spyder ETFs, their website for the ETF provider is just the word sector, SPDR, so Spyder with no vowels.com. That will take you to the ETF provider if you want to take a closer look at, how are those built, who's in them, how are they weighted, all of that fun stuff. But that is kind of a little backdrop there. Each week, we're going to rank the sectors, moving them up or down based off of what we're seeing upon the components that make up those ETFs, right? You're going to notice that our sectors are going to be broken into 3 different colors: blue, yellow, and purple-ish. Our blue sectors are growth-based sectors: technology, discretionary, and communications. Our yellow is the cyclical side of the market: financials, energy, industrial, and basic materials. And the plum-ish color is going to be the defensive side. That's going to be healthcare, real estate, staples, and utilities. Right. So kind of have them grouped up based off of their characteristics there. Each week, based off of what we're seeing on the stocks that make up those ETFs, we're going to be moving up, down, keeping it the same. We can kind of talk you through the thought process, of course, in the video portion of the newsletter, but just to have, to let you know kind of where we're seeing these different sectors, what's standing out, what are we liking a little less, a little more. As you can kind of see, it's on a football field. We are not a particularly aggressive group at Tackle Trading. It's going to be extremely unlikely that we're ever going to put an entire market or an entire sector into plus or -3 territory, the end zone, if you will. We're typically going to live between the 20 and the 40, which is slightly bearish or slightly bullish, into the 20 towards the 10 or so, which is, bullish or bearish. We're not particularly, you never say never. I'm not going to say I'll never put the energy sector into the end zone, but I don't really think I will. And I don't think we will either. It's really hard. That means every single stock has to be basically just exactly the same, right? The same strength or same weakness, no outliers, anything like that, which is, not very common, at least in my personal experience. Again, we can talk you through kind of the thought process as we're going through that video portion. Again, if you need just the symbols, if you're already familiar with the sector Spyders, their symbols are in here as well. At the end of our meeting, we do what we call rapid fire, where each coach will share their favorite bullish and favorite bearish setup that we put together in the stock and the option report going into next week. It's a really fun way to end the meeting, to kind of, share your, hey, this is what I like about this one. This is what I like about that one. It's a lot of fun. Great way to end a meeting. And our team seems to enjoy the rapid fire addition to the newsletter. We are active on the Tackle Trading Discord. If you are a pro member, I certainly invite you. You can get the link right here. Come on in. Get to know your teammates. Discord is fantastic. It's a great way to be able to stay connected with the team. Easily can just say hello, or if someone has a question, they can just at me and I can see it. On Wednesday nights for the Trade Masters webinar, Coach Matt and Tim, and usually some guests are live on the chat, where they're also talking while the webinar is going on, while the Trade Masters webinar is going on. So I certainly, if you're a pro member, come on over and join us. It's very easy to do. Love to have you over there. It's a great way to be able to communicate with the team, that's for sure. A little friendly reminder to match the strategy to the situation, right? So again, when it's a Monday night, the markets are closed. Of course, I'm not going to mess that one up, right? But tomorrow at 12:47, while the markets are moving, I might get it in my head that I want to sell a naked put or whatever it might be, right? We're people, we can do those things. So a friendly reminder is never a bad thing, right? So you're going to find a pre-built scanner in here as well. So if a particular sector has caught your attention as you're working through your routine, be it weekly or daily routine, say, what, I'm really liking the way energy's looking right now. I'd like to do a quick, run through some energy stocks. Let's go with that one. This is going to bring you to a pre-built FinViz scanner. I'm just going to smack the charts button here. this is going to give me some bird's eye views, right? Give me a lot of side by sides. Now, these are what I refer to as trader friendly stocks. And when I say that, I mean they're plenty liquid. It's very easy to trade shares. They're shortable. So if I'm looking bearish, it's not a problem. I can borrow and go short. They're optionable. Now, if you've traded options before, you don't need me to tell you that just because a stock has options doesn't mean they're particularly liquid, right? So just because it has options doesn't mean it would be something I'd be comfortable, but we can always go check. I would say as a collective whole, these things are fairly easy to trade with options, but I would also say there are certainly some that I would only trade equity on personally, at least. But whether it's through stock or options, I'm going to be able to put together a trade if there's something I find in here that I like. It's going to give me this bird's eye view, right? I wouldn't think that I could actually build a complete trade off of this, but I can kind of get an idea of what I like, right? I know what kind of patterns I like. Right? Maybe you like this, pullback in Chevron. Maybe you like the big names, right? Or maybe as we kind of work through, maybe we like the potential breakout potential of BKR. After this recent earnings call, just a very easy way to look at a lot of stocks very quickly, get some ideas, get them into your watch list and go through them in your actual charting platform, right? It's very helpful and fast, at least in my personal opinion. Sometimes it's going to look better from afar, right? Sometimes when you take a closer look, it's I did see all that resistance over there that just happened to be in April or March or whatever. But not always, and probably not even most of the time. Just once in a while, but it does happen, at least to me sometimes. Oh, it looked a lot better from afar. But it's really just designed again so you can easily, quickly go through an area that's caught your attention, do a little bit of window shopping, get some ideas. I don't even know who you are, EPD. I'm not interested in you at all. But boy, Conoco, coming back to that old resistance, $80 support level. Maybe there's something I want to take a closer look at there. So that's what you'll find. We, of course, have that for all of the different sectors. Then you're going to have, excuse me, then you're going to have the World Watch, just the all world ETF and the emerging markets ETF, kind of where they are, as well as the dollar index. And of course, the ETFs that track them. And then just a final thought, right? Final thought for the upcoming week. The newsletter is such an important part of what we do at Tackle Trading and our routine, individually as traders, whether it's me, another coach, brand new team member, someone who's been with us for years. It's a big part of what we're doing. And I think it's always where you want to start. We're also going to have the stock option commodity report. Coach Mark typically does the commodity report and does a great job highlighting, the technicals, the fundamentals, and kind of the storylines that are going on within the world of commodities. He's always on top of that world. He's also, in addition to kind of keeping, the team up to date, what's going on and maybe where some opportunities are, or maybe starting to at least get interesting. Not everybody trades commodities via futures. Maybe even most people don't. I don't know. He'll also give, viable alternatives. Oh, copper's looking strong. If you don't trade, futures and trade copper, we could use something like FCX as a proxy that it's going to move very similarly overall to the price of copper. So he does a great job, giving some practical ideas to members of the team, whether they're trading in the actual futures market and trade commodities over there, or prefer the equity market through stock and or options. Going to give some great insight over there as well. The stock and option report are going to be built very similar foundationally. They're going to be built very similar to one another. Each week, we want to make sure that members of our team have good quality technical setups on both the bullish and bearish side, whether they're trading stocks, options, or both, right? And so as we're putting together these each and every week, we're really starting it from a technical point of view. Allison transmission here, for example, had the breakout snapback, right? Kind of testing that old resistance level as a new support zone, right? Baker Hughes kind of pushing into a known resistance level right around that 28 marker as a potential breakout candidate. So we want to make sure that we have some good quality technicals, both from a bullish and a bearish perspective for our team each week. And that's true whether you're trading stock or options, right? Where they're really going to differ is, in the stock report, these things may just be friendlier to trade with stock. Now that might be because of their lower price. HL, for example, might just be easier to trade a low price stock with shares outright versus getting too crazy with options. And if you disagree and you say, well, I want to trade options on it, you can go check, see if it has options. Most of them these days do. If it does, you can check the liquidity. Is that something you'd be comfortable with? Great, right? I would say as a whole, though, that might be one of the reasons that these things are in the stock report instead of the option report. Plenty of liquidity on the stock side, but just not a lot there for whatever reason on the option side. So over in the stock report, kind of the video portion, as we're kind of talking and walking through this stuff, we're going to talk a little bit more about the pure technicals, the process, resistance, support, confirmation, stop loss, targeting, all of that fun stuff, right? And really kind of keep it from that perspective. Whereas over in the option report, while those things are every bit as important, right? We all understand that. We're going to talk a little bit more about strategy selection, right? Building into the trades. Well, this might be a good candidate because everything in the option report's got plenty, at least from our perspective. Every coach, in our meeting would be comfortable trading the options. Usually that's how it works. Either we all are or we all aren't, right? Because liquidity is liquidity. Over in the option report, we at least would be comfortable trading options on any of those candidates. Well, does that mean we're buying a call, buying a put? Does that mean we're doing a credit spread, a debit spread, a diagonal spread, a poor boy, covered call, naked put? Well, I mean, right, there's a lot of things. So in the video portion, we can talk a little bit more about that side of option trading as well. So we want to make sure our team, it has good quality watches to work out of, first off, whether they've got trading stock or options or both, and commodities as well. We want to, be able to bring extra value, kind of, do a little bit of teaching. We'll always do that in the write-up, in the video, always take an opportunity to do a little bit of teaching as well. We want to make sure that our team is prepared as best as possible for each and every trading week. When you're in the stock report, the option report, whatever, you've seen these trading view charts embedded into tackle trading on a few different pages that we've looked at here tonight. Just always like to take just a minute and show a couple of really cool things that you can do with this. If you're not familiar with TradingView, it can be really helpful. So maybe we like GIS, right? We like a $70 breakout on GIS here, right? It's kind of holding up relatively strong. It's in, if not certainly one of the strongest sectors in the market in the staple side of things. So I want to take a closer look here. You can smack this widget button right here. That's just going to hide your watch list. So you have a little more chart to work with. Smack it again. Your watch list will come back. You can kind of size your chart through scrolling up or down within the body of the chart. You can hold your left mouse button down in the numbers and up or down. You can hold your left mouse button down and back and forth like we're doing here. So we can kind of get it sized the way we want it to be, right? Because we're visually looking at this stuff. It's defaulted. These are swing trading candidates unless we present otherwise, and once in a while that'll happen. We'll always kind of talk about that, but these are swing trading candidates. So default chart's going to be to the daily, but there is the drop down here. You could look intraday, you could take a look longer term, all of that fun stuff if you want to do so. As you can clearly see, the default is set up to candlesticks, but if you do prefer bar charts, you can just smack that little button right here, and that will get you your bar charts for you. If you want to add an indicator or two, the indicators button is just right up here. As a quick note, it's not going to save. So if I just added the ATR, for example, if I leave the page and come back, the ATR is not coming back with me. So before you add a whole bunch of indicators, do just be aware of that. It is not going to save. If I don't need the indicator to be as big as it is, I can just kind of hold my mouse over the little barrier between the volume and the indicator, hold the left mouse button down, and I can move it up or down, size it as I need to do so. Your trend line tool is going to be right in here. So you got, in this particular case, we kind of have that, clear top, right? Breakout type of a candidate. And maybe it's not particularly applicable, but maybe it is. I'll let you be the judge of that. We can actually draw the trend line itself as well. If I don't need them, just select it and just hit that trash bin. That will get rid of them. This guy right here is where you can prep long or short trades. Now, this is a bullish breakout candidate here. So I'll go long position, and I'm not going to be too specific. Just to kind of show you how this works, I want to come in above resistance. I'm just going to put it right there at 70.01. So that's where my entry would be. My target price is up here at around $73. And my stop loss, I want it to be at, where right there. Well, that's going to let me know that my risk to reward is for every dollar I'm risking, I have $1.08 in potential profits. That just probably isn't good enough, right? But I can kind of bring it up. Okay, well, if I want to have a 2-to-1 trade, which is kind of the norm for traders and certainly for me as well, I want to be, have at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward or reward to risk ratio, however you want to word that. Every time I'm risking a dollar, I want to have expectation of getting two back, right? And I can kind of see where that is. Say, you know what, I'd feel comfortable with my stop loss there, but maybe you wouldn't, right? Maybe that's just too tight on stop. That would have been a sensible place, but today's, candle with that big tail, just gonna, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that, right? So you can say, well, I can change my target. I can, check back tomorrow. Maybe there will be a better place for a stop loss, right? Maybe tomorrow just a candle that looks like the one on the 14th there. We have a better stop loss option, or at least another stop loss option. It is a really handy little tool, helps you visualize the trade, does a little math for you, right? So you know that I am comfortable with this from a risk to reward perspective. Again, that's right here. You can do it for both long and short positions if you are looking on the bearish side of things. So just a few things in here. I always like to take a minute and talk about, because I use TradingView every single day. Those are some of the big ones that I personally use. But we want to make sure that they're we've got always going to have you covered. Now, how you use this, that'll be up to you, right? You might only use the option report, right? You might only use the stock report. You might not like General Mills because you've already got Conagra Brands and a couple of other trades already going on some in the staples, and you don't want to add another staple stock. Maybe you just hate General Mills. You think their cereal's gross and you're not ever going to support buying their stock. It's okay, right? It's your money. You don't ever have to tell me why you're not going to trade something. That's your business. And that's, for most of us, that's how we're going to use these reports, right? We're going to take our favorite setups, whether it's, technically based, price based. Maybe you just like things that are under $50, and that's what you gravitate towards. Maybe you're looking to add things in a particular sector, not so much in another sector, right? Maybe you're only interested in being, a bull in this particular area, not interested in being a bear, in tech, even though there's a bearish tech candidate. So, it's okay, and it's very normal to kind of take your favorites for whatever your reasons are. They're your reasons, right? Add them to your watch list. Like I said earlier, there's no bad way to get a trade idea, right? And it's not about what you don't trade; it's about what you do trade. We just want to make sure that our team always has a good, qualified, diversified watch list each and every week going into the market, so they don't have to spend a ton of time digging. I'm happy to do a lot of scanning for our team members and share at least what I consider the best setups in the market at any point in time. I've got the time and I've got the will. I love to do it. I know not everybody, feels that way though, or even if they do, maybe they don't have that time. So we want to make sure our team always has actionable ideas each and every week going into the market. Again, we're putting these together on Friday into Saturday. We're going to make sure the team has them by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to go through any and all of them before the market gets back up and running. As we get winding down here, the tackle today is our daily email. As I brought up a little earlier, if you would like that daily email, just smack that button. You can sign up for it right here. We will also post it directly in this page. It will get to your inbox faster, but if for whatever reason you prefer to read it here, that's fine as well. Just some quick thoughts each and every morning, as well as I look at the upcoming lineup for the day. So, what shows we're doing, when we're doing them, the links and all of that stuff you'll find in that daily email. That is just the tackle today that you find here. We are active, of course, on all of the different social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. If you're using those platforms, certainly invite you to come on over and join us. Just another way that we can connect with members of our team here on YouTube. I think in a lot of ways we're best known for our live stuff, right? Our particularly the halftime report, but the Trade Masters webinar and our special webinars as well. But we do have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel, a lot of how-tos, walkthroughs, think or swim tutorials. We're always thinking of new things that we can add to make even more quality content for the team. So certainly, if since we're on YouTube, if you haven't had a chance already, it would certainly be appreciated and helpful to us if you did hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, so you're always alerted to anytime we're going live or adding something new. It always does help us on the analytics side, and hopefully it helps you make sure that you know when we're actually doing stuff here at on our YouTube channel as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that gave you an idea of what we're doing here at Tackle Trading, as well as a little bit about who we are and kind of our approach to the markets. I certainly appreciate your time. If you're a new pro member, great to have you. I'm excited to get to know you. I'm sure I'll see you around one way or another. I'll be seeing you probably very, very soon, be it, on our YouTube show and Discord, the coaches show and Twitter, whatever it is. I have no doubt that we'll be crossing paths very, very soon. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you. If you're not a pro member, just checking us out, or maybe just, like to hang out with us on our YouTube, certainly appreciate you as well. Don't be a stranger. You're always welcome here, pro member or not. We do have a standing offer you'll find over in our store tab, as well as a link in any of our YouTube videos of a free 15-day trial. You can come in, see what we're doing on the back end, see if it's a good fit, see if it's a good home for you without having to make any crazy commitment or anything along those lines. That is a standing offer. You can find more information about that over in the store tab, or there will be a link at the bottom of any of our YouTube description videos in the little description portion of the video. So, if you aren't a pro member, certainly appreciate your time nonetheless, and certainly extend the offer to come see what we're doing on the back end, see if it is a good fit for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that has helped you get to know tackle trading a little bit better. I will let you get out of here today, but stay on top of the market, stay safe out there, follow those rules, follow those systems. I know it's been a crazy stretch in the market. Make sure you're not doing anything that you're going to regret one way or the other. Follow your rules, right? That's why we have those rules. And we'll continue to build them. We'll continue to be working the markets with you here at Tackle Trading each and every day. So get out of here. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday night. I will see you all again very, very soon.